Hello? Undertale fanboy.
Bosses are an integral part of any video game nowadays. First bosses set the mood for the game, semi-final bosses get you hyped for the final fight of the game, and final bosses are supposed to be the epic climax of the game. I could only think of 10 instances where the final boss was actually satisfying for me, so I'll give you the rundown for each one. Same rules as usually associated with these lists, one per franchise, and one only from games I played.
Okay, the dilemma I face with this one is it's a Pokemon game. People will complain that I put the wrong one on here, or I put it too low, or that I put one on here at all. That said, Steven Stone.
With him being a stone, his Pokemon are all steel, ground, or rock type, dual type, with another non-mineral type. I mean, he's got a Skarmory, a Claydol, an Aggron, an Armaldo, a Cradily, and the almighty Metagross. He even gives you a Beldum after you beat the game. You have to stay on your toes for this one. When I first faced him, it was in Gen 6 and I had trained up my Mega Swampert enough to take down any one of his Pokemon. But as a team, I still had trouble. Eventually though, I was able to beat him the first try, which is only why he's number 10. But he's on the list now for how much fun he was to fight.
Now that I fought this guy, I don't like having to fight this guy.
Everyone's praised the fight against Shomin Yamamoto up and down like there's no tomorrow. And yeah, he's a good fight, but frankly my least favorite in the game. Now I can't put my favorite on normal boss list, but I can put it on this list. Megumi Kitsuniji, the conductor of Shibuya Tokyo, is the most tragic story I've heard once I got far enough. Basically, he and the composer of Shibuya had a discussion and set up a 3-week game with each other. The composer would choose a player to play this game, and if the player won the game, Shibuya would be erased. Yeah. Kitsuniji can't explain this situation to Neku, so when Neku is fighting to save Shibuya from Kitsuniji's mind control pin, yeah, it's tough. Tougher than the fight? Yeah, but I used the pin I got immediately after the first phase. That pin is broken! Okay, let's go back to the first phase. The first phase has Megumi taking control of Shiki, Neku's first partner, who fights Beat, his current partner, while Neku fights Megumi. Shiki attacks Beat like she attacks Noise as your partner. Megumi attacks Neku with Sekko missiles in a circular pattern, telegraph directional lasers, the ability to phase through attacks, and the ability to turn his arms into 2 noise heads that will chomp you. The second phase is focused on fireballs. Neku and Shiki fight Hydra Kitsuniji first. Neku attacks a certain part of Kitsuniji's neck and does more damage when the head comes down to the lower screen and attacks. The third phase, stuff happens. As I said before, this phase is easy with the pin you got after the first phase, but it's all about surviving until you build up your partner gauge with Shiki, Beat, and Joshua to deal the final coup de grace.
Okay, let me put you in context.
In an attempt to become the ultimate Mega Man, this guy created a dummy body to join the High Council of the highest governing power on the planet, created a series of biometal made from the soul of Dr. Vile from Mega Man Zero, and yes, the fact that he was used to create biometal is proof enough that he has a soul. Then he stole 4 biometal based on the 4X Guardians from the Zero series and gave them to 4 artificial Mega Man. Also, he created Prometheus and Pandora and killed them near the final stage of his plan. And he kept your past hidden from you as a spare Ultimate Mega Man with encouragement from either Vent or Ale. From the last game, you rebel against him and oh dang! If you're playing as Grape,
now that my plan is finished, you are no longer of use to me. There only need be one Ultimate Mega Man, me!
this phase is as easy as spamming Malpi's Giant Shuriken on the waypoint, the opening where the 3 necks meet. Once that's over, Albert becomes Mega Man Model W and the fight gets hard. He throws these blades at you, flies around, teleports, and uses the shards as a sword. You just have to homing attack the shards he throws, and shoot Albert's shield before you get to him. It's harder than it sounds, and so satisfying to kill him. The final duel with Demise in Skyward Sword comes out of nowhere, and as soon as it's over, no one mentions him again.
No, I'm not doing it.
But with the Ganon sword in his hand, this is one of the most epic final duels in the series. Say what you will about Ocarina of Time, it was a big step forward for the Zelda series, but the final boss is not to my liking for some reason. This is a one-on-one fight between the Demon King and the just hero. Yeah, you have to play defensively, but the atmosphere sells the fight. And halfway through the fight, you throw lightning bolts at each other. I hate this guy. I really hate this guy. Diane Grants is the embodiment of a tragic villain gone wrong. When he was young, he destroyed his home, a small island by the name of Hod, while it was in the middle of a war with Kimlaska. Because it was predicted, he grew angry at the prophecy that called for it, called the Score. Because he thought that because it was written in his fate, there was no chance that the island could have been saved. So he recruited allies to use in an attempt to erase the Score, by destroying the planet Aldrint and replacing it. Nonetheless, he has to be stopped. The fight is satisfying and emotional since he's Luke's fencing teacher and Tear's brother, but surprisingly that plays well into the battle. He has all Luke's moves and 2 mystic arts that will wreck you if you let them. My strategy was to have Tear on the team at all times, and if she's knocked out, only use a life bottle then. But I explained how the fight ends already, and the end, I was happy that he was gone. That's what keeps him lower on the list. He's a great villain, but you're supposed to feel sorry for him in the end. Evil, power-hungry Pope. That's really all the build-up you need. So, yeah, Sanctus from Devil May Cry 4. Unlike all the other bosses in the game, you can only fight Sanctus as Nero. His main attacks come from the sword Sparta and these 2 satellites that Nero can grab to get in closer. You need to break through his barrier and, if at all possible, grab him with the Devil Bringer for one of the most epic lines in the game. Not much else to say, except after kidnapping Kyrie, trying to play God, and killing Credo, it is so satisfying to kill this religious son of...
Sega has gone to some weird places for their Sonic games. My favorite of them being the Interstellar Amusement Park from Sonic Colors.
The Nickel Whiz Bomber is unique for Sonic Final bosses, because Super Sonic is not even an option to use in this fight. You and Eggman are just running along the side of an elevator, thousands of feet above the planet, you with nothing to beat him, him with various forms of your whiz powers. All you have to do is jump over the spikes and lasers, weave around the cubes for a chance to hit Eggman. Once you do that, a wisp will pop out and you can dash into the armor to get another wisp. And the freaking music! Rock opera masterpiece! By all accounts, the next one should be lower than this, but I'll explain when we get there. In a game with the same theme as Robert Rodriguez's Shark Boy and Lava Girl, the bosses are frankly underwhelming. Heck, even the true final boss is kind of disappointing given the build-up. Frankly, he doesn't get here for being a good fight. You just fly at him as a dolphin, a rocket, or a dragon, depending on whether he puts you underwater, casts clones of himself amongst a series of meteors, or blocks you away with a shield of wind, respectively. So, why is he number 3?
Nightmare is my creation. To destroy me is to destroy everything I have created. In other words, if you destroy me, you will be destroying yourself as well.
Well, that escalated quickly.
Oh wow. Knights dies if we win? That's hard to swallow. I almost cried when I first beat True Wiseman because Knights just accepts that he's dying. But Will, Helen, and my 13-year-old self couldn't take the fact that he was dying. As you can tell, this fight gets on the list for nostalgic value, build-up, and atmosphere alone. But man, it was powerful. This guy is basically a combination of Adolf Hitler's leadership and Shiva the Destroyer from Hindu mythology's power. Oh god, why'd I write that? He didn't put an entire people into a series of concentration camps, but he did inspire a country to rise up to and try to unify the world under one peristilium, that being the White Tiger of Milites. Ultimately, with the help of Class Zero, the Dominion of Rurum unites the world under the Vermilion Peristilium, and all hell breaks loose. When the Rorison invade, Sid Alstein goes to the flying city that appeared and takes control of the place, becoming Agito. Basically a god. When you first fight him, you can't do anything. No way around it, you're all going down. But then...
私たちここまでみたいごめんね
人にしかたどり着けない未来
あなたたちは持っている
試されている数多くの世界で
あなたはたどり着いた一つの未来二人ともまったくじゃあやるしかないね絶対倒すよ
Now the fight is about avoiding the Rorison Arbiter's attacks until you can land a kill sight attack on one of its eyes. Yeah, it's an obvious weak point, but you can't do anything unless it's a kill sight. So it's not easy to take down. Oh, and this guy hits like a truck. No, scratch that. He hits like a freaking airplane. Another thing about these eyes, they knock you out as soon as you kill them. So the party member that finally kills Alstein is likely to be the last person in your party. And in the end, I won't spoil it again. Okay, Fire Emblem Awakening is the comeback that Fire Emblem needed in the West, and as such, the final boss against Grima deserves at least a mention.
That being said, how do you even top fighting your future self in a battle to determine the fate of the world? Intelligent Systems did.
Fire Emblem Fates came out this March, and I already beat both Birthright and Conquest multiple times. As to which boss takes the cake, that's touchy. I got Conquest, so I had to fight Takumi first, which was hard since I identified with him a little. And when I got around to playing Birthright, I wasn't satisfied killing Garen because I already knew why he was acting so evil. So which one takes it? Neither. There is a final boss in the same game that not only tops the other bosses, but also Grima, Ashura, and all other final bosses in the series. Not just because he's satisfying, but because he's so terrifying. Anankos from Fire Emblem Fates Revelations. First off, look at this thing. Just look at it! It's a dragon holding a 3-pupiled rotating eye in its mouth and has the ability to create black holes. And now to why this is the most satisfying final boss in the Fates games. Backstory. This monstrosity took over the kingdom of Vala after killing the previous king, Azura's birth father. Ever since, he's been trying to extend his reign to the surface world through the Bottomless Canyon, and I'll let you do the meme. To do this, he killed and took control of Garen, causing him to kill Sumeragi, kidnapped Corrin, and start a bloody campaign to conquer Hoshido under the Norian flag. Clearly, if you don't elect either Nor or Hoshido, he needs to be taken down. And you do just that with the Omega Yato you get just before the first phase. Again, the Stone Mask Nankos isn't very terrifying. He's insane in the chapter Hear My Cry, where he has to be stationary to give you a fighting chance. He's level 37 and high HP, skill, luck, defense. So while you need to attack this guy with multiple pair units, Corrin is mandatory in the strategy. The second phase, Anankos, is where it gets terrifying. You need to take down the arms, I use Rio Manzander for this part, the head, and finally the eye. But he'll have leveled up 3 times in the space of a cutscene. Both arms have 63 HP, so if you can attack them with multiple units, do it! The head and eye each have 80 HP. I definitely encourage multiple units here, but Corrin especially. And in the end of the fight, we are treated to the most heartwarming cutscene in all the games.
We swear to you.
I'm the Gaming Knight, and I empathize with the worst protagonist in the Fire Emblem series. Saw that coming.